Welcome back to the IBFP. Here's your host, Boxing New.
Welcome back to IBFP University, where we educate casuals. Look, let's just break it down. Myth: Canelo Alvarez fears Artur Beterbiev and all the top smoke. We got an interesting comment from Andrade, right? And this is in regard to the fact that Canelo Alvarez refusing to cherry pick for the zone. And Andrade Wright states, how'd I know you use those ridiculous examples as proof? And he's referring to Khabib, Masvidal, and De La Hoya. Now, why would they be ridiculous examples when those are the same examples that the zone wanted Canelo Alvarez to fight? But I digress. He also goes on to state the zone only mentioned them because of their popular name value. Canelo still refuses to fight top competition in their prime: Charlo, Andrade, Beterbiev, Benavidez, and Gvozdyk. So let's just go ahead and debunk this with nothing but facts, as we always do. And we start off with Charlo, the first name in his prime that Andrade Wright mentioned. And Charlo's already rejected a Canelo Alvarez fight. So how is Canelo Alvarez refusing to fight Charlo when Charlo has already rejected the fight? That makes no sense. Then we get to Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, and Demetrius Andrade only has 1 year of his prime left. He has never faced an elite level competition, and yet Demetrius Andrade basically told Canelo Alvarez that he will not fight him behind closed doors. Now, Andrade must know that every fight right now that's being held are all behind closed doors. There's no fight in front of fans right now. So basically, you saying you won't fight behind closed doors means you're not going to fight him at all. That's exactly what you're saying. So how is he refusing to fight Andrade when Andrade said he won't fight Canelo? You got to make sense. But let's keep it going. And then, the next thing, Andrade Wright stated was that Canelo Alvarez wouldn't face Artur Beterbiev. Well, one thing you don't understand, and this proves how much of a casual you are, is that Canelo and his team has already stated that their plans are to fight at 160 pounds and 168 pounds. They do not campaign at 175 pounds. That was a one-off fight. At the end of the day, if he campaigns at 160 and 168, why would you want him to fight Artur Beterbiev? It doesn't make sense. That's not his weight class. But even if he did fight Artur Beterbiev, and even if he did take on that challenge and he beat Artur Beterbiev, he wouldn't even get credit from you. You know why? Because Artur Beterbiev is not in his prime. Artur Beterbiev is 35 years old. We got to be honest about it. But let's keep going. And then David Benavidez. David Benavidez is the next guy you mentioned. Well, the funny thing about David Benavidez is he stated on numerous occasions that he prefers to face Caleb Plant before even considering a fight with Canelo Alvarez. Caleb Plant is the fight that he really wants, not Canelo. So why would Canelo Alvarez prioritize David Benavidez, who now no longer even has a world title? And here's the funny thing about David Benavidez. If Canelo Alvarez beat him, you wouldn't even give him credit, because David Benavidez is only 23 years old, nowhere near his prime. We got to be real about it. And then the last name you mentioned was Alexander Gvozdyk, and at 175 pounds. And we have already mentioned how Canelo Alvarez is not campaigning at 175 pounds. But just to entertain the thought, you must not realize that Alexander Gvozdyk has already retired, stupid. He's retired. He's no longer boxing. So why would Canelo Alvarez try to pull a man out of retirement who just retired, who had no belt, who came out of a loss? This guy walked away from the sport off of a loss, not a win. So why would you want to fight this guy? It doesn't make any sense. Look, and at the end of the day, Canelo Alvarez, the two fights that he's considering prior to the lawsuit, and even if the lawsuit is settled, the two names that he's trying to get done are Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders, two undefeated world champions in their prime. How are they cherry picks? We got to be honest and unbiased.